Look at my ring.
There's something more important that we need to talk about. What is, are you...
That's how I bang, that's not how you...
It looks like you're going to get side. Hello, Internet! Welcome to another Bro Kids. Live all the time. In the future, we may be able to afford graphics to put there.
Probably, I mean, maybe. I think first, like, we have to pay the energy bill. But anyway,
it's really good seeing you guys tonight.
Thank you for coming over.
Yes.
We're going to be making a delicious meal today.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yes. You see, there's one sort of food that I like best. That food is called Italian food.
I thought you were going to go with edible food, but that works too.
Well, here's the thing about Italian food.
Okay.
It makes any food edible, right through the miracles of garlic and cheese.
Oh, that's a good point, actually.
So, this time, we are going to be making a delicious, meaty Italian sausage lasagna.
Actually, we can't afford meat once a week, and we ran out of rats.
Oh, come on!
So we're going to be doing a vegetable lasagna.
It's going to be delicious, and you know it. You have an opposite definition of delicious.
It's covered in cheese.
All right.
Let's go with the ingredients.
We're going to go with a vegetable lasagna. Now, don't worry, everybody, this is still super delicious, and obviously it's way cheaper because we're not using meat. It is, however, still delicious because we use three kinds of cheese, a whole lot of garlic, and
spices and junk.
And vegetables.
Yeah, let's do it.
All right, here we go. First, carrots.
Delicious carrots.
How lovely.
Those are good.
And
Good for
then
your eyes.
onions. I like onions.
They're nice.
And while we're talking about the onions, why don't we just get out of the way and say we're doing garlic too? We're making Italian food, people. This feels like Italian food. I know what some of you are saying. You don't put onions in your marinara sauce. You're wrong. Onions are delicious in marinara sauce, and it stretches it.
Onions are good at everything.
Next, broccoli.
Broccoli.
Chop it up, super nice. It's green, but it'll be covered in a lot of cheese and sauce, so you probably won't be able to tell by the end. All right. Spinach.
Yeah. Now we have the frozen stuff here. If you don't have the frozen stuff, you have the fresh stuff, that's fine. Just cut it and wilt it a little bit in a pan beforehand to get rid of some of that O2.
Yes, if you have the frozen spinach, be sure to defrost it beforehand and squeeze it out in your hand like a barbarian, so that you don't have any extra water in it. You don't want to have lasagna soup.
Right. I just realized that I meant H2O. I said O2, which meant they were taking oxygen out of their spinach.
Technically, there is oxygen. There's oxygen. So, spinach. Oh, and pro tip, if you're wondering which one you should dip, it's cheaper. Frozen is typically cheaper.
Sure.
Two reasons. One, it's just cheaper. And two, it doesn't go bad. So, something to keep in mind. Okay, here we go. Next up, we have 99-cent pasta sauce. Delicious.
Yeah.
Delicious. Cheap. You can always make your own marinara sauce, but let's be honest, sometimes you get home from work and you do not want to make pasta sauce before you make lasagna because you're not an old Italian grandma.
Right, but keep in mind, we showed you how to make marinara sauce just last week.
So if you made some and saved it, you could be making lasagna right now with your own homemade marinara sauce. All right, here we go. Next, we got some spices. A little basil, a little oregano.
Delicious.
Super classic. Always good.
Cornerstone of Italian cooking.
And an egg.
One.
Ooh.
Just the egg.
Ooh, wild card.
Wild card. You didn't see coming, did you?
And now,
the fun part.
mozzarella. It's a cheese.
It is a cheese, and it's awesome. Also awesome.
Also a cheese. Also
awesome.
Also delicious. Also, with Parmesan, obviously, you can always get the cheaper versions.
Correct.
This pretty cheap. We probably even get cheaper if we really want to look around. Sometimes you can find a nice-ish American Parmesan, which yuppies don't think is real Parmesan, so they don't buy it. That means sometimes it goes on sale, and that's when you get to cash in.
Bingo.
All right,
and close it.
Oh, look! It's a lasagna noodle.
Yeah, now because it was on sale, we were able to get the no-bake lasagna. What that means is we can just shove this in the oven and we're done.
Boom. But if you don't have this on sale, it might cost more than the regular stuff. So keep an eye in the store. If you get the regular stuff, all you need to do is parboil it. That means that you cook it for about half the time you usually would. So that it's still very chewy and not at all fully cooked before you put it in the pan.
Right. Easy to do and absolutely delicious.
All right. I'm going to get started by preheating the oven. We're going to be putting that on 375 degrees. And then before we put these
Delicious vegetables.
Delicious vegetables in our lasagna. They need to be wilted because, again, the enemy of flavor is water. And you need to get as much of it out before you set up your lasagna. So here we go. I'm going to get started on a little beauty. I'm going to be sauteing the garlic, the broccoli, the carrots, the basil, and the oregano until it's all nicely wilted, and the onions, until all of this is very nicely wilted. Now, I'm not tossing the spinach because we have frozen spinach and we already squeezed it out, so it'd be kind of redundant.
Correct.
And I'll go over here.
I'm not sure where he's running to. This right? You can stop running. You're not going. They're just. Okay. Anyway, while he's doing that, I'm going to be getting a mixing bowl.
The wrong burner. I'm turning on the wrong burner.
Is that why it didn't come on?
That was why I wasn't working.
Okay.
In case you were confused.
In the meantime, I'm going to be doing some stuff with the cheeses over here.
To be clear, with sauteing, you go ahead and you put oil in the pan first.
Right.
You want to have a warm pan, cold oil. So you let the pan heat up a little bit, toss your oil in, spread it around, and throw in your veggies.
So while he's doing that, I'm going to set this mozzarella aside. We're going to be doing some stuff here with the ricotta, the parmesan, the egg, and the spinach. And we're just going to be mixing all of that together so it's nice and delicious. So let's get started. Boom! Boom! And now the ricotta. Ricotta boom! Yeah! I like how that kind of wiggled a little bit. That was really nice. Now I'm going to throw in the spinach. And like we said, make sure you get all the water out of that. You want that to be nice and dry. And finally, we're going to crack in this egg. Boom, boom. Same as I want to crack.
Sven's watching. Say hi to Sven.
Hey, Sven, how's it going, man? What's up?
He called you guys handsome, and then he said, I remain unconvinced that James is not an old Italian grandmother.
They say you are what you eat.
It's probably kind of true. There we go. And again.
And I didn't wait long enough, and that's why it didn't sizzle. But that's okay, because it started sizzling almost immediately.
All right, follow James over there to the stove for a little bit while I clean up this mess.
Throwing vegetables into a pan. You need a big pan. So why am I doing a pan and not a pot if we're making just, a big wad of vegetables and throwing those on? The biggest reason is this gives you a much larger surface area so that a lot more water evaporates out of the vegetables quicker while you're cooking. So that's why I'm doing that. Also because I want to. Hello, Basil. Am I doing all this good? Yes, I am. Basil pound. We're the cleanest, most confident, and reasonable chefs.
Of course.
In all the land.
So while James is doing that, I'm over here mixing, like I said, the ricotta, the parmesan, the spinach, and the egg into this. Now look at that. That is delicious, right? So this is going to be one of the layers of filling for a lasagna. And it gets it nice. It's going to be nice and gooey and absolutely delicious.
Prospects of James just cooking his vegetables. I remember the day when he had an Italian sausage.
Back in the early days, those were good times.
Good times. Back when people used to talk about James in terms of potential, and that would be accomplished.
Right.
Good days.
But then
the days when I could have been something and supposed to not just not being anything.
But then the oil wells dried up, James.
Yes?
What's going on?
I mean, it's vegetables. It's still vegetables. I'll let you know if it turns into ham.
It's not going to make...
If it turns into ham, I will alert you.
Okay.
And I will say, Mark, it's ham time.
You realize...
And then we'll have to do a hamburger dance. See? Uh-oh. Oh, that's my hamburger dance.
That is not legit.
Uh-oh.
That is legit enough that I can quit.
Just legit enough. Just legit enough to quit eventually. With the convenient. Alright, so I'm just cooking these down until they are quote-unquote al dente.
Right.
Al dente here means, of course, that they are not raw, but they are not mushy or fully cooked in the southern sense in which I was raised, where you just boil everything into a sort of a gray-brown slurry. That's your vegetable.
Well, to again quote the West Indians, when it's bud, it's done.
Yeah.
Is it bud? Then it's done.
But then is going to be a little bit more, nice, because I think we let a Northern Californian give us a recipe.
Yeah, it's only slightly done.
Yeah.
So while James is finished that up, I finished this part of the stuffing. So now I'm going to layer the lasagna in the bottom of the pan. So this is the easy part. You just gonna do that. Just gonna do that. Voila. Lasagna. It's kind of like arts and crafts a little bit. Look.
Nothing,
What?
man, nothing.
What?
I just had a flash to little Mark in a summer camp.
Hey.
I made a friendship bracelet.
We had to do some very specific things in inner city public schools. And if arts and crafts could be crossed with lunch, it saved us all a whole lot of time.
So, what's the inner city version of the friendship bracelet?
I guess the friendship rubber band.
Hey, I see this twist tie on the thing. I thought we could split the twist tie. Do not take the whole twist tie.
Do not take the. Here's the important thing though. You know how cool you are by whether or not you have the whole twist tie, or if you have like half of it ripped off so you can see the wire. And you're badass if you got the wire. Off if you got the wire.
You can poke someone in the eye.
Yeah, and if it's a little rusted, oh yeah, that means you're like hanging with tetanus. That means you're badass. Because you and tetanus are like this.
Why is it that making bad decisions and being cool are like a 1-to-1? It's never like, oh, he's doing his math homework. Not cool. It's always like smoking or like shooting a dude.
Yeah, it's about living on the edge, James. That's what I'm talking about.
But what if you're like a quantum physicist and you're living on essentially the edge of reality or sanity as we know it?
Right.
But you're not cool exactly. I love you.
No.
Like culture doesn't recognize.
I recognize that. But to be fair, if the quantum physicist that shot a dude, he'd be badass. He'd be the quantum physicist that shot a dude.
That is true.
Right?
But see, again, I feel like we're celebrating the wrong thing there.
That.
The shooting of the dude.
Okay.
You see, I've become Mark. James or Teresa.
That's right. How were you able to say that with a straight face?
I found the peace of dignity and goodness. Ooh. Also, this crabby vegetable pile is done. All right.
So now that the veggies are done, we're going to start layering the lasagna. This is the fun part.
Okay. So which one are you first? I want to do vegetables first.
So we're going to start with the vegetables. So we're going to start with the vegetables. We're going to do a layer of that.
Sprinkle. So you're just basically going for a nice even layer as much as you can. But don't beat yourself up about it or be too worried. This isn't exactly rocket science.
True.
You're making, cheesy, saucy casserole.
Exactly. And it's all going to bake together and be delicious and be held together by the noodles anyway.
Vegetables. Hey, this looks a lot like sausage, If sausage was changed into a sad, disappointing version of sausage that had no meat in it, and instead just had vegetables.
Go over there and think about what you just did.
Vegetables!
So now we're going to add in a layer of our ricotta sauce. And it's the same thing, just
and with the ricotta,
slightly even layer, don't worry too much about it.
And with the ricotta, you can literally just kind of throw little lumps in because it tends to melt as bacon.
Mm-hmm.
So you don't have to worry about trying to spread it all over the place. That can get really messy and difficult pretty fast.
Indeed. And once we do that, we're going to throw in a layer of the Parmesan.
Hey. I don't mozzarella because it was in my hand.
No, mozzarella. I meant mozzarella. I said Parmesan.
Hello, cheese. You're the reason that everyone loves you. I mean me. I mean Mark.
And now, we're going to throw in the marinara sauce.
Marinara.
Do the marinara.
Alright, you don't want to overwhelm with your marinara. You just want to have a little bit in there. But you need enough that it cooks the noodles. We have these no-boil noodles,
right.
So it's very important that it does have enough liquid in it that those are going to get cooked. But again, as it heats up, it's going to spread around all over the place and kind of blend together.
Right.
And the Parmesan?
No, the mozzarella, you're good.
Oh, okay.
And then once you do that, you take your next layer of lasagna, you throw that on top, and you repeat the process until you've essentially made a mountain of pasta and cheesy stuff.
It's like food Legos!
But you don't want to see us do all that. you also don't want to see us necessarily sit around for the 45 to 50 minutes that this thing is going to take to cook.
I mean, unless you want to just hang out and, you know, like in the old days, like before you got that new job and you started feeling like you were like, you know, so much cooler than everybody else.
And this is the internet. They're already like masturbating to something in another tab.
It's true. Hey, what are you masturbating to right now? Let us know in the comments.
Let us know in the comments what you have in the other tab. And don't lie to us.
Yeah. We know. First tab, like Facebook rules. You can open the book and be like, what's the tab over first tab right now? Do not censor.
Don't lie to us. We'll know.
Yeah. I can smell BS.
From a mile away.
I vote that we just make this a super thick layer, and we do the sloppiest version of lasagna you've ever seen in your life.
Sounds like a plan.
Okay. When you make lasagna at home, there's no one to tell you that you're doing it wrong.
I guess I theoretically should have been a little bit harder to convince than that, but fuck it. Throw it in.
Now I'm going to use half of it here in this layer, but I'm saving half of it to put on the top layer to coat the top with delicious melty brown mozzarella.
You don't want the top to just be the lasagna. That's boring. Why would you do that?
It's like Santa's lasagna.
Exactly. It's like that little frozen lasagna that you buy from Ralph's at 2 o'clock in the morning.
With the lasagna that comes with a sand violin.
Yeah, you know, and then you shove it in the microwave. Delicious microwave lasagna.
I feel like I want to start a line of microwave meals called Bad Life Decisions.
Wait, so White Castle?
Yeah! I think I would really respect White Castle if they had one thing that was called, like, payday depression burgers, you know?
The question is, how far away is Taco Bell from doing that?
It's like, I mean, I think when they started making Doritos tacos,
they were just like, fuck it.
They made their call. Yeah, that was it.
Taco Bell, you know what you're doing.
Speaking of which, would you like to get some Dorito tacos later?
Goddamn games. We have a responsibility.
Look at this. Mark, because he got nervous on the camera, forgot the first rule of proteins. Scrape your goddamn plate. We're just going to put it on top, even though you're not supposed to do that. How did this go wrong, Mark?
You're fired.
This is how professionals... You know what, though?
Are you saying that this is how we do it?
I believe that I'm making lasagna upside down cake.
That is actually kind of exactly what's happening here, isn't it?
That's right. Lasagna upside down cake.
Yeah. So we're going to sprinkle a layer of mozzarella on top to get that delicious cheesy coating on top. It's almost like a cheesy crust, except instead of crunchy, it is cheesy and fills your arteries. And I'm just going to throw that out there. No rhyme or
This isn't really a pretty thing.
Yeah. Yeah. You know what? Let's just kill it. Yeah.
What are we going to hold on to for?
There it is.
And then I'm going to spread that even. So the top layer is actually the one layer where you do want to try to get it nice, relatively even coat, just because it's not going to have the benefit of kind of sitting in the stew the way the rest of it is. And you want to make sure, especially with these no-bake noodles, that you're getting enough liquid in there that they actually do cook.
So we're going to shove this into the oven, 375 degrees. It's going to be 45 to 50 minutes, and then it has to sit around for 15 minutes, so you don't literally bite into boiling lava. You can't eat lava.
Hold on.
You can't eat lava.
Pele would like a word.
Okay, you see, this is why Hawaii doesn't invite us over anymore.
I'm just saying.
Literally, the entire state of Hawaii is just like, fuck you guys.
And I can eat lava because I can do whatever I set my mind to. It's in a book. Take a look. Reading Pele. Reading Pele.
Anyway, so we can skip the whole boiling lava part. We're going to just get right to the lasagna through the magic of, Whoa! And it's like all colorful, like a rainbow of delicious. Whoa! Those are 5 unicorns! And they're synchronized swimming!
And they're all giving each other blowjobs!
That is amazing! Oh, look! Oh, whoa!
It's our completed lasagna.
Amazing. How delicious is that, right?
Come on. You guys know you want to take a bite of that.
And I think we do too.
Oh, I think the difference between us and them is we're going to take a bite.
We wish you could be here, unless you want to take our lasagna, in which case
You can stay away.
yeah.
Alright, what are we going to cut it?
Our faces?
That is a horrible idea. Also, remember everybody, remember when we said that you shouldn't bite into hot lava? Woo! Here's the thing about doing what we say
Yeah.
versus doing what we do.
You guys do what we say.
Remember, we're trained assholes.
In a way, you can consider this sort of a warning.
Yeah, this is why you should listen to us.
Exactly. Because something horrible is about to happen here, and you don't want to be the ones that experience it.
Something horribly delicious.
But we will suffer for you.
And now just keep in mind, guys, part of the reason lasagna is so awesome is it's another one of these dishes that gives you food for essentially a week. If you look at it, this square is probably about as much as you really need for a serving. If you want to do like some extra, if you did 2 squares, you'd be in pretty good heaven, right? Well, that's still 4 or 5 meals.
Exactly.
So that's a week worth of food that you just did in 1 cook session. And heating it up, toss it in the microwave, do what you will.
And you can easily put this in the freezer to freeze.
Oh yeah.
The main thing is
Keep in the fridge for about a week. If you keep in the freezer, it could keep almost indefinitely.
the important thing is when you're cooking, do think about essentially how long you're cooking for. And if you can do something like this where it's going to last you for a while, definitely pull it off.
Yeah.
Also, don't think of this as one meal. That leads to some very, very dangerous warnings. Mark says, having no experience in this matter whatsoever.
It's like I've pooped 1,000 times.
And still it never ends.
The Mobius poop. Alright,
let's take a bite.
I think it's time for us to see how we did. Now, before we do that, everybody, take a good look. You see all those layers of cheese, how it all kind of merges together, gets all ooey gooey.
Oh, that's going to be awesome. Alright, buddy.
I'm cooking.
You're failing.
I'm not good at eating lasagna. I'm not good at making it.
Alright, 3, 2, 1. Oh, good God.
Oh, come on.
That's amazing.
Oh,
What's funny is the vegetables, especially the onions and the carrots, add a nice sweetness. Combine that with the marinara and the saltiness from the ricotta, and you have something absolutely amazing.
I'll say this. I've been joking around bad enough in the vegetables because, come on. But I actually do prefer vegetarian lasagna. Here's why. Meat lasagna can be very, very delicious, but it sometimes ends up incredibly heavy because there's just so much fat to it.
Right.
And from a texture standpoint, it's all kind of mush. The distinction between your ground beef and your ricotta really isn't very much. So after a while, it gets to be just one big globby mass. Now, that can be delicious, don't get me wrong. But the really nice thing about veggie lasagna is, one, you get this nice textural variation. So you have these little crunchy bits of carrot, you have these little chewy pieces of broccoli, and then you got the spinach all kind of mingled throughout. That's really lovely. And I really think it adds a much more complex and satisfying flavor for the end.
And the thing is, what's great about lasagna is you don't have to choose.
No.
You can literally take this recipe, throw in some sausage, ground beef, whatever, and get the best of both worlds. I would, if you can afford it, try and pull off some sausage, just because it adds that extra salt, and it does help with that texture issue. Sausage has this nice, chewy flavor that mixes well with everything else.
That's really cool. Also, you keep in mind, if you want to add just a little bit of, to spice this up a little more, you could easily toss in a little cayenne pepper. That would be great. You could totally rosemary. Good traditional Italian spices would all do really well in here. But also, lasagna is one of those dishes that is great for leftovers. So if you have some leftover meat or some leftover veggies and you're like, I don't want to deal with it, go ahead and some sauce and some cheese and some noodles and bam.
It is one of those dishes that gets even better each time it gets reheated. And as you can see, we usually try and stop and say goodbye after a bite or two. We're going to fucking clean this plate.
You can go away if you want. I'm not even with you anymore. Lasagna and I have fallen for each other.
You realize lasagna is eventually going to be gone.
I mean, that's relationship, right?
It's better to have love and loss.
All relationships are doomed to failure. Okay, guys, we love you very much. Thank you so much for coming and joining us on This Broke Eats. Check out this recipe and more at brokeeats.com. And keep an eye open we are finally figuring out what we're going to be doing here
Yeah.
in the near future, and I think you guys are going to like it, because at the end of the day, it's what makes sense.
The easiest way to say it is, the train is a-running. So we'll see you guys next time. Have a great night. Thanks for joining us. Peace. Peace.